So this is John with Brainstorm Comics and Gaming, and this is this week's Turning the Page. I'm in here with Chris. Can't buy me love, but that is not true. They can buy Chris love by the hour. It's not as dirty as it sounds, though. Chris is a tattoo artist at American Tattoo in Brunswick, Maryland. How can they reach you, Chris?
The Instagram page is Christopher Love Tattooer, and then the shop page is American Tattoo Studio.
Sounds good. Are you ready for this week's topic, sir? I know 4 of them you are not really ready for because I did not tell you what they were.
Fire away. Let's do it. Let's get this going.
All right, let's start with topic number 1. This week, the big news was Scarlett Johansson is Black Widow, and she is not happy with Disney. And they should probably watch out since she is a trained assassin.
I think she just plays one on TV. There's a difference.
That kind of ruins the whole.
It does a little bit.
But anyway, she is unhappy about her contract, which stipulated she gets a percentage of profits, but it was purely theatrical releases that it stipulated, and Disney released it on Disney Plus at the same time, which inhibited some of her earning power. What are your thoughts on this lawsuit?
I think she's being petty, honestly. Like, super petty.
You think so?
Yeah.
So I compared a lot to Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, how they had signed contracts, and I feel like, yes, the companies honored it by the word of the letter of the contract, but not necessarily the spirit of the contracts. I feel like Scarlett Johansson does deserve the extra money. I mean, and apparently she had been in negotiations with them for about a month and a half, 2 months before they released it on Disney Plus to try and negotiate a percentage of that. Like, hey, you guys are kind of breaking the spirit of our deal. And Disney's response was, you're going to act like this in the middle of a pandemic when all these people are suffering? And I'm like, you're $1 billion company.
Yeah, I mean, it pains me to side with Disney because I think Disney's the devil. But she got paid $20 million to do that movie.
But again, she negotiated for.
She did, but also I think that and Disney made the point of they did put it on their streaming service, but they put it on as their premium plus, so you had to pay for it, which she gets a cut of.
My understanding is she doesn't, though.
What I read said that she did.
Okay. That
they were giving her cut of that because they were like, it made $80 million or something on its opening, and then they did 30 or 40 million in those Disney Plus sales, the pay extra for the movie. I think she's just mad because it tanked. I mean, Fast and the Furious is doing better than Black Widow.
Well, I think it's hard to do a prequel when because isn't that what this one is? I haven't read that much about it.
Yeah, I don't. As far as I know, no one really wanted it or really cared.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like she's in the right, though. I feel like... I
don't know. We're going to have to disagree on that one because I think she's being petty.
How?
$20 million. You need more money?
Does Disney need more money?
No, nobody needs more money. Let's just give it all to poor people. Let's agree on that. But no, I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird look. I think it's
So I think Disney is playing the same card that the NFL owners and the MLB owners do when they're like, look, they're arguing because we're not paying them enough. Look, they're paid $30 million, and everybody's like, yeah, why are they paid $30 million? And you're like, but you earn
Also, I think that expecting them not to do some kind of at-home release while COVID is still a very real thing is a little selfish and weird.
We'll have to look a little bit deeper into it because I thought that she was not getting the same percentage of the Disney Plus as the.
It didn't say what the percentage was, but in their response to her and in the article that I read, and didn't read too far, but. They said that they quoted the money and were like, we still sold it. You still get a cut of that money. It just wasn't a theatrical release.
Okay.
I think it just seems like she's salty because nobody likes her movie.
Well, I guess we will end the topic there. Turn the page on that. We will check back in once more information about the lawsuit and everything comes rolling in.
Sad Scarlett.
Like I said, I feel like Disney's just playing the publicity a little bit better than her in terms of the...
She can dry her tears with those $100 bills.
Which we all wish we had.
I mean, I've done it once or twice.
Before we move on to the next topic, don't forget the LCS, like, comment, and subscribe. The Brainstorm Comics and Gaming YouTube channel. You can do that in the bottom right-hand corner. You can click on the logo. It'll take you to the subscribe page. We appreciate everybody who does that. We reached our 200 subscriber milestone this week, so that was very cool.
Yeah.
We're rapidly approaching 15,000 views. We're well over 10,000 right now.
Are we gonna be famous?
What's that?
Are we gonna be like famous?
I
On the
hope
internet?
not.
Yeah, I don't really want that either.
So, I want to sell more books. So,
That's okay.
yeah. The next one, I know initially you had one feeling about this, and then you and I discussed it a little bit already. Rob Liefeld is in trouble / not in trouble. He was supposed to be at, which one was it? Big Apple Con?
It was Big Apple.
Big Apple Con. He was supposed to do a signing. Yes. Big Apple Con did this big release, like, oh, Rob canceled on us and blah, blah, blah. And Rob's like, that's not exactly true. I let them know well in advance. They said that they were going to keep promoting me until they found somebody else. And they also tried to offer me tons more money to try and entice me to go. What are your thoughts? Is Rob Liefeld the angel or devil in this scenario?
I mean, it seems like they're both kind of being whiny babies about the whole thing. Big Apple's being like especially whiny about it. Like, you can't tell me he's the first celebrity, I use that with air quotes because it's Rob Liefeld, that has canceled on a con, and it just seems like they were super duper bummed about it. And I guess I understand, but
I think the thing is, Rob Liefeld's an easy target, though. So if he cancels, you can make him look like a bad guy pretty easily.
I mean, I feel like everybody thinks he's a bad guy in some way anyway.
Which is funny, because anybody that meets him talks about how nice he is.
He seems like a nice guy, but, you know, it's just weird that they've gotten into this, like, weird, like childish argument of, like, he said, she said. He says that like, he has time-stamped screenshots and voicemails and emails saying that he canceled and that they reached back out and offered him more money. He says it was because of COVID.
Now, I know the first thing that colored your opinion on this, though, was the video that he had done. Like,
he looked a little rough.
Now, I have not watched the video, so I'll let you talk about that.
He just looked like he was not in the best of states. Like he was, you know, maybe on some illicit substances or something. I don't know. He just looked like he wasn't having. Maybe he was sick. I don't know. Maybe he was scared.
Well, I mean, he has been an industry stalwart for 35 years at this point. Like, he's been.
Sure. I mean, he can remind us all that he made Deadpool and all he wants. I don't know. It just seems very whiny on both of their ends at this point.
Well, I know you talked about how there's several creators who have a bigger opinion of themselves than what you think.
There's a lot of them that have bigger opinions of themselves than I think they deserve. Johnny Cates. I'm sorry. Oh, wow.
I wasn't going to mention anything.
No, I'll call it. You know, it's whatever. It's fine.
But I don't know. Like I said, everybody has their different people that they love and stuff. And
I don't know if I would ever like not go to a con because a celebrity
was or was not going to be there.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to me. But I mean, if I was like super looking forward to it, I guess it would bum me out. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to say Rob Liefeld is more of the angel in this scenario than Big Apple.
I think Big Apple kind of, I don't know, maybe like overplayed their hand and thought people were gonna be like in an uproar and like, you know, get the pitchforks and the torches and start going after Rob. It didn't seem like that. A lot of people defended Rob, it seemed like, in the post that I saw.
Yes.
And I think he was kind of deserved. I don't think that he should have gotten the backlash that he did. Like,
the hatred.
Yeah, you have the right to not do something. I mean, that's kind of silly. It wasn't like he took their money and ran away with it or something. He just said, I'm sick and I can't come. I'm worried about COVID. Like, it happens.
Yeah, I think that he was probably the one that's in the right on this one. And I'm not a Rob Liefeld fan by any stretch of the imagination.
It pains me to say that, like, I'm taking Rob Liefeld's side on something.
But like I said, he does seem like he has a good reputation with a lot of people in terms of being really nice at Comic-Con, talking to everybody, like being very outgoing and stuff. As much as I don't like as I'm not a fan of his art, like I feel like he would be a great spokesman for the right company. like
Sure.
I feel like he does have a love of the industry. I feel like he does like.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to have a balanced approach on him. There's a lot of people who just like
I don't
vehemently.
think he's not Frank Miller or anything. You know what I mean? He's not like a bad person, or not that Frank Miller's a bad person, but you know, I think that like it happens, and it happens a lot. You know, and for them to get like that bent out of shape about it, and to make some weird like passive aggressive post about it, like apologizing on his behalf or something, it just seemed very petty and weird.
Well, we will turn the page on that topic. I think we.
I think the world should turn the page on that topic. Like,
Well, like I said, I still feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad for like anybody that really wanted to meet him, but it's Liefeld. He'll be at a million other cons.
Yeah,
Like,
he gets around.
He does. He does get around.
We will turn the page on that topic, though, and we will turn on to the next one. But before we get to that, don't forget to visit Brainstorm Comics and Gaming in Frederick, Maryland. We have a great downtown location there. If you're looking for some great restaurants, some great little shops to visit, there's retro shops. I know your favorite thing to go down there is the record store.
Yep.
So if you're into albums, there's 2 stores down there still, right? There were 3, but I think one of them closed up.
Yeah, I think there's Rock and Roll Graveyard and then Record Exchange, which is
Your favorite
my
one, right?
favorite place. Yeah. Sam's a great guy.
So that's the Frederick one. And then if you want a more robust back issue selection, you would want to go to our Walkersville location, which is 4,000 square feet. We have about 100 and some thousand comics out for your perusal, and I know you get lost in them, although after last night, I think you may not want to touch a book for a while.
I don't want to touch a long box for a while. Yeah, that was a little rough.
All right, so we will move on to the next topic. So our next topic, you just mentioned Frank Miller, and we had also been talking about conventions. So our next topic is actually about Frank Miller and the convention Thought Bubble in the UK. Frank Miller was supposed to be one of the attendees there. Once a publisher had found out, and their name is Zainab Akhtar, and I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly.
I wasn't even going to attempt it, so I'm glad you did.
She apparently went to the con organizers and voiced her concerns about some of the previous publications that Frank Miller's put out, in particular Holy Terror, which originally was intended to be a Batman book, and then DC... I don't know. DC gets credit for not putting it out, but I'm like, they greenlit it in the first place. And I love DC, but you can't have it both ways. Very
convenient backpedal, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like at first they were like, yeah, that's good. And then no.
Somebody thought about it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Somebody went home and slept on it.
So she took her concerns to them, and she said that they did not address her concerns, so her company was going to pull out, and then other attendees also started to pull out until they removed Frank Miller from being on the panels that were supposed to be there. What are your feelings on this? I don't know if you've looked into the full
not a whole lot. I don't know. Frank Miller's another one that like had his moment in time. I feel like he did some really relevant stuff and wrote some good stories, and then went crazy.
So Frank Miller had put out a statement saying that he wrote Holy Terror when he was very angry after September 11th, and he said that there's several things that he wishes he had not put in there, but he is not going to go back and edit out anything that he has put out because he feels like it kind of diminishes the state that he was in at that point. He said that it reawakens like things in him, like I know where I was at that point. I know how I like mentally and such at that point.
Sure, that seems like
a cop out.
Totally, 100%. Like I hate to be like negative about that, but like that just seems like a complete cop out to me. Like I got mad and I wrote some inappropriate like stuff, and I'm not going to take it back or anything, and I'm not really going to apologize for it. I'm just going to say that's how I felt at the time.
Well, he did say that like he does. I don't know if he used the word regret, but I think he kind of implied or said outright that he was like, it's not who I am now. It's not, but in that moment, that's what I felt, and that's what the anger that I felt at that point.
And you can like have those feelings, and that's totally valid, and you can be mad about something, but like you went so far as to write a story and sell it to somebody to publish it.
Yeah. So you're saying that it wasn't like crime of passion sort of thing because it wasn't all instantaneous. It was over the course of
it wasn't like
months.
the accidental like on your ex's Instagram page that you wish you could take back. You know what I mean? Like while you're lurking. No, like there was like forethought and he did it.
So, from experience?
I mean, everyone's done that. I mean, come on, everyone's done that. And I could see like if he wrote it and someone found it or something, it was like, oh, Frank Miller wrote this wild story after September 11th, and maybe he shouldn't have. But it's kind of like getting caught doing something bad and then just regretting it because you got caught. I feel like, like I don't see a whole lot of validity in that statement of like, well, that's just how I felt at the time, and I was mad. It's kind of silly.
So I'm not gonna lie, I've torn on several different things on this. Number one, a lot of the creators who pulled out after that lady brought her concerns forward, like that's when they dropped out. So apparently they didn't have a problem with it until she like said it. Like, so were they truly offended, or were they just like, oh yeah, let's be on?
I think we very much live in a culture where people are afraid to offend anyone, and they will take steps to distance themselves from controversy, which I think is a good thing, and it's also a bad thing. Like, if people are being stupid and doing things that aren't cool, then call them out on it, you know? I think that, like, we've lived so long in a world where people have just gotten away with it because they have clout in any way, whether it's, you know, racism or you know, being against a religion or someone's pronoun, sexual preference, whatever. Like, we need to call those people out and support people who are being marginalized. So, like, that's cool. Like, do that, but...
So here's the other thing for me. I like Frank Miller stuff pre-1998. Like, after that, like, it kind of went downhill for me, and a lot of it to me is almost unreadable.
Yeah,
but,
it's not. Yeah, there's not much that's. Yeah.
So I feel I don't like that he can't go to any convention if this continues. I would have liked for them to meet some sort of like middle ground where like they had a panel together and they discussed like maybe even discuss Holy Terror and
True.
like try and have a real honest discussion about it. You know, how to combat feelings about like. That could arise from a situation like 9/11 without blaming everybody of a community or a group for what happened. How to still address issues but not blame a whole group for individuals' actions or what have you.
Yeah.
I would have preferred something like constructive like that coming out of it than.
I think dialogue is important with understanding different points of view and different people's things. Yeah. But I also think that like. At this point, if you have feelings about, like blanket feelings about Muslims and that religion still based on 9/11, like you're probably on some ignorant type stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
but like I said, it does sound from his comments that he, at least from what he says, and again, I can't get in his mind. I don't know how true it is.
I wouldn't want to get in Frank Miller's mind. That's a weird place to be, I would feel.
Yes.
To me, it seems like he's sorry that he got called out on it and he got caught. Like that's what I take from it.
It's possible. Like I said, I can't get in people's minds like that, so I will not make a blanket statement on that. Like I said, I just wish that they would have done a panel between those two, and
I think that would have been a more constructive way to do it.
I think that they could have gotten a lot more people to watch and hopefully have a good conversation. And
it's also, I think it's kind of sad that like it had to get to that point. That like maybe when she addressed those concerns, they could have been like, "Hey, let's do a panel, let's talk about this, and let's shed some light on it."
No, I will say
they kind of ignored it. It seems like.
Well, I will say maybe they did offer that. Maybe she didn't want to do it because she didn't want to. So I'm not saying that wasn't offered at all, but I don't know. It was something I would have preferred to see. But
yeah, me too. I would watch that.
But we will turn the page on that topic, and hopefully we get some more stuff coming up in terms of. Some progress, and we hear some more from Frank Miller. Hopefully, his viewpoints from 15 years ago are not the same as what they are today. But
I mean, we can hope. But...
That's why I said hope. So we will turn the page on that one, and we will move on to the next topic. And this is one that you definitely wanted to talk about. I know we had been talking about this for I think 2 weeks at this point. So Chris and I are both members of several different Facebook groups, and one of the things that popped up about 2 weeks ago was new collectors getting ripped off. And this is so Marvel's doing a thing that I think is very cool in terms of putting out facsimile books, which gives people a cheaper access point for buying huge keys. There's another one
Which
coming.
isn't a new thing. They've done Milestone for a long time.
They did, but these are like exact facsimiles. They have the same ads in them. They have it's an exact replica of the original. The next one coming out, I think, is Ultimate Fallout #4. So please, people, don't spend $1,000 on the $399 facsimile edition getting ready to come out. And that brings us to what we were talking about. There was a Hulk 181 that was selling for $900, $1,000, $700, something like that.
It was a lot of money. I don't think it was that much money, but it was a lot of money.
Okay. And for those who don't know, 9.8s are selling like for crazy sums of money, like tens of thousands of dollars. And they were promoting this as pretty much a 9.8 if I remember correctly. Or was it graded? I forget. But
there was a couple different ones. I think the one that I saw, it was a raw book, but it was still like a high grade raw book. And I think the guy paid like it was like 350, 400 or something like that. And he was super hyped because he thought he got a deal. And he like posted on the group and he was like, I'm new to collecting and I just got this and I got it for a steal.
Now I told you, I think that one was fake though. I think he was making fun of the guy who bought, I want to say it was X-Men 1 or one of the other ones. Or
yeah, there's been
that guy,
a lot of them honestly lately, and sad.
And like I said, the guy making fun of it or making light of it, I understand. Like it's an easy target, but. And don't get me wrong, I definitely live by the philosophy, if it looks too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
Admiral Akbar said it best.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And I know that you feel really bad for the new collectors coming in who aren't quite as adept at the...
Somewhat, yeah. I feel like it's kind of... It's like a twofold thing. I guess there's like two sides to that. Like... You as a consumer and a collector have a responsibility to yourself, I feel like, to do some kind of research and understand what you're participating in and spending your money on. And I think that the community at large and retailers also have a responsibility to not be bad people and like sell books for lots of money that aren't worth lots of money to try to target people, because the community has grown exponentially in the past year after COVID. Like the collecting community has gotten huge. So there's a lot of new people, and that's a good thing. It breathes life into things that we care about, but you have to be somewhat smart about it. And I think both parties, the retailers and consumers, need to be smart about it.
Well, I think I told you before, there's a customer who comes in here who's not a newbie by any stretch of the imagination. He had bought a Fantasy Masterworks or Masterpieces, the one with the first Silver Surfer in it, Silver Surfer 1, and he thought he had the original, and he brought it in to be graded, and I was like, I have to break some bad news to you. And he did not spend an outlandish amount of money on it, but he definitely spent more than what it was worth. But like he thought he was getting a steal from the.
I also think that there's like that fantasy of like finding that book at a yard sale or something that you pay 10 cents for, $1 that's worth $1 million. Like that ain't happening anymore. Like Google knows everything. The internet is a thing. Like so, like you said, if it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
Yeah.
But I think that like people as a whole really have a responsibility themselves to do some kind of research and understand that like know what prices were, what
maybe I'm different than
covers look like.
Maybe I'm different than other people, but when I even spend $50, when I was buying this equipment like to film this, like I was like, this is a $50 thing. I'm still gonna do my research and find it. Like if I were dropping $400, $500.
Yes, very much so. I think I would do some research. Yeah, but I also know that there's that excitement of like finding something you've been looking for, and you think that you've like got a really good deal on it, and you just pull the trigger because you pull the trigger. And I mean, I've gotten burned before on like toys and stuff. I feel like comics are a little bit easier because they were the same for so long, and there's so many different iterations. You know.
So you brought up toys. I don't know if you've seen the new thing for comics, and that China is putting out a lot of replica comic books right now.
Are they really?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
making comic books now. That's
Yes.
awesome. That's awesome.
So they've done the toy thing for a while now.
We've come full circle.
And now they're moving on to, like, people are talking about, like, they're getting really nice copies of key issues and such for.
As someone who loves bootleg things, I might have to look into that. 100.
Apparently they are out there. I saw it in one of the Facebook groups. I'll have to find it for you so you can.
But I think there's a difference between like buying bootleg and knowing you're buying bootleg.
They're not selling them as.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Also, I feel like there's so many like comic groups and forums and communities on Reddit and Facebook and everywhere else, and we talk about it all the time because we see it and kind of laugh about it, but when new people ask questions, it's like they get fried and made fun of and like almost ran out. And I think that's where you're going to lose people in the community, and somebody who puts themselves out there and asks a question but just gets made fun of.
You and I have had this discussion now. I'm torn on some of them because almost every day there's like 30 questions of like, can you tell me what this book is worth?
It is a little redundant, yeah. But at the same time, you know, I guess we've been doing this for so long that you kind of forget what it's like to be like a new person.
But I think it's better to give them the places where they can look.
Sure. And there are people on there that definitely will jump in and be like, go on eBay.
The ones I like is like, are you selling that? IPM?
Those are the best. Yeah, like, oh, that's worth nothing. I'll give you $10 for it right now. I love those because somewhere down the line somebody's like, cool, I'll sell you that book. That's great. But it's the people that like blatantly like bash.
There was one this morning where a wife said, "I'm helping my husband trim down his collection, $1 a book," and everyone's like, "Does he know?"
Right? Does he have knowledge of this? That's salty. And
then everybody was posting meme pictures of vultures.
The sharks that's the new term. The sharks are circling. I love it.
Yeah. So let's give a couple pieces of advice.
Sure.
Number one, eBay sold listings. Great resource to find out what your books are worth.
As much to everybody's chagrin, I think eBay kind of dictates.
It tells you what people are willing to spend on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think cover price, you do have to pay for that one, but
no book made before 19 something is going to be more than $2. Like, yeah, if your Hulk What Anyone says $3.99 on the cover, you're not buying a real one.
Yes. Key Collector, as much as I hate Key Collector, is one that you probably want to go to. It'll also tell you if there are reprints and stuff on it.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
learn how to read the barcodes too. That's another really easy way to tell what something is.
And find somebody you trust. And I know it's hard. It's getting harder and harder. More money that is in the water, the more sharks are drawn to it. Unfortunately, so
definitely. And if you're nervous about something, like, you know, start looking at slab books. Look at something that's been graded. You know, buy a reputable company, not PGX. That's going to tell you a lot there as well, you know. And if something looks off, if it looks fishy, it probably is. So maybe don't do it.
I agree. So I mean, there's some great things that you can do out there. I think most LCSs, local comic book shops, will help you. I think most of them don't want to take advantage of you because they'd rather have you as a long-term customer than as a short-term. Definitely. And if you do find one that does want to do the short term versus the long term, ditch them and find the next one. Like,
always pay goods and services too.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Friends and family. Always goods and services. Yeah.
So we'll turn the page on that one. I'm sure we'll have more assistance for new collectors in the future. And let's go to topic number 4. This is one that you and I were like, we're taking bets on how much it'll go for. Heritage has a copy of Amazing Fantasy number 15 graded at 9.6. How high can it go, Chris? What are you thinking?
I said 2 million. Easy 2 million. Maybe 3.
I'm going with 3.
Between 2 and 3.
I'm going with 3. I think the popularity of Spider-Man is greater than Superman, much to my anger. But
Also, I mean, that book is gorgeous. A 9.6 in that book. I don't know how it exists at a 9.6, honestly. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
It seems a little.
like I said,
Fantastical,
that would be cool just to be in the same room as that
Oh,
book,
yeah,
let alone
100%. Yeah. Just to hold it. Yeah.
yeah. Apparently, you can take tours down at Heritage, and
Can you really?
I think that's.
Will they let you touch stuff, or is it like the museums where if you get too close to the paintings,
So they
they
just
yell at you?
did as much as I hate the guy. I'll plug what his video. Comic Tom, one of those guys on there, went down to see the Promise Collection. I don't know if you know what the Promise Collection is or not. Some guy or two brothers went to, I think it was the Vietnam War, and one of them said, "Take care of my collection," and then he did not come back, I think, and so the other one has
I did
taken.
hear about that. Yeah, you're right.
And apparently, like the collection is like in ridiculously
Like pristine.
good condition, like, and they're selling it off in pieces. And I think the first part did like $7 million. The first like 250 books or so.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, but my understanding is the guy who does the thing with Comic Con, I forget what his name is, but he went down to the Heritage to see the auction, and they let him look through the books before, like touch them and everything. And I was like, maybe I want to go down and touch it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Amazing Fantasy.
Maybe to, like,
Fiction.
check your credit before you walk in the door. I don't know if I could. They wouldn't even let me in.
No,
Probably not.
maybe I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Get your picture taken with. Apparently, he was taking pictures and video and stuff. So apparently, like
100% like Santa Claus style. Get my picture taken with a 9.6 Amazing Fantasy. Yes, very much so. Hang it on my refrigerator. I'd show all my friends.
I held that book.
Right, yeah.
That's $3 million I held in my hand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, or maybe 3 million.
No.
2.5, 3. So anyway, that's insane.
I've never held.
No, nowhere near that. It's cool that there's like a piece of history that's that well preserved in this thing, especially when it it's geared towards children and something that stayed in that good of a condition for that long is kind of amazing and cool.
So we will definitely give an update once this one sells because I want to know what it goes for. So we'll
bought it.
Turn the page on that one. Don't forget that is our last topic for this episode. Don't forget to LCS, like, comment, and subscribe to the Brainstorm Comics and Gaming YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we will have another episode for you next week.
Buy more comics.